Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and in this video I'm showing how I draw in my sketchbook. So let's start. Usually I start with the ball, like you can see here. So I build my characters first with really basic shapes, and I try to use really light lines. And here I'm using a Blackwing pencil, and you can use any pencil you like, but I like these Blackwings very well. And here you can see me drawing in the body. So again, a really basic shape. And I hope you can see it. I try to get some sort of flow into the character so that the line under it is a C, and up on the other side are more complex shapes. So first I draw the head, then the body, and then the legs. And as last I draw in the arms. And as you can see here, because you can draw the arms in any pose you want. And here I'm drawing in some details after I set up the big shapes, like the tail and that area around the neck. And here I'm drawing some feathers in for the arms. So again, you can see that I started with these big shapes, and then I'm adding some smaller shapes, adding in the eyes. So now you can see that I'm erasing a bit the big lines, and I'm drawing the final line work on top of it. And what I'm doing here is I go over these big shapes, and I'm adding some more interesting lines. So some nice corners, and another thing I like to use, and you can find that more in other tutorials from me, are CSI lines. So I use an C against an S-type line. Yeah, you can see me doing that here, trying to find the right lines for the right spot. And I'm trying to have contrast in those lines, like having a long line and a short line and a medium line, and playing around with those three types of lengths of lines. So adding in the irises to give the character some more character and personality, and drawing in the neck. And also a good tip is to watch out for parallel lines. And this neck is quite parallel, but you can see at the top of the neck it's wider than at the bottom it is. So there's some tapering going on there. Now here you can see me adding some details on the feathers, some pattern that the end of the feathers are white. Drawing in the tail, and you can see me there's some slight difference with the shape under it. Again, like like with the arms or the feathers or the wings, some shapes at the end of that. And here I'm drawing in the legs. Giving it some ankles and knees, and also going to draw in some toes. And sometimes I add some details, and I try to save those details for last. Another thing why I always start with the head is that the head is the first thing as a viewer you will look at, as if you're looking at a character. So if you can get that right, then the most important part of the drawing is right. So that's the reason why I like to start with the head, because if you get that head right, then it's good. But if the head isn't working, erase it and try it again, or sometimes I even start a whole new drawing again. So this is basically how I sketch, and every time I fill the sketchbook, I buy a new sketchbook. So I get a lot of questions about what kind of sketchbooks do I use, but I just go to the local store and look what they got, and I feel the paper and see if that fits me. But maybe I think everyone has his own things they love the most. And here I'm coloring in the black parts. I'm using the side of my pencil. Really easy, really quick. Adding some shadow, and to finish it off. So shadow gives always some weight to the character, and that's always what I like. If you want to learn how to improve your art, you can subscribe to my Patreon page. On my Patreon page I give weekly video lessons and video feedback. Check my Patreon for more information. I also make tutorial books. You can check them out on my Gumroad page. Recently I published one book about anatomy drawing and another one about perspective and backgrounds. All books come with at least 1 hour of video tutorial. You can find the links to my Patreon page and Gumroad page in the description.